Hello, everyone. Today we are delving into the beauty of Shakespeare's Sonnet 1. Each line holds a poetic treasure, and we will unravel the meaning. So, let's start with the introduction. Sonnet 1 by William Shakespeare contemplates the interplay of beauty, procreation, and time. The poet opens with a universal desire for beauty's perpetuation through offspring. However, the attention turns to an individual consumed by self absorption, neglecting their role in the preserving beauty. The sonnet weaves themes of mortality and responsibility, culminating in a compelling call to action. Though metaphor and structured verses, Shakespeare navigates the delicate balance between personal vanity and the broader duty to share one's inherent beauty into the world. Let's delve into the explanation line by line of the Sonnet 1. The first quadrant. From the fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty rose might never die. But as the riper should by time decease, his tender here might bear his memory. So let's discuss the line number 1. In the opening line, Shakespeare expresses the human desire for beauty to multiply and endure. Here, the fairest creatures refers to those with exceptional beauty. Line number 2, that thereby beauty's rose might never die. Here, the poet envisions the continuation of beauty, likening it to a rose. The metaphor suggests the perpetuation of aesthetic grace through generations. Line number 3, but as the riper should by time decease. Shakespeare contemplates the aging process, acknowledging that with time, even the most mature and ripe individuals will eventually pass away. His tender here might hear his memory. This line introduces the concept of succession. The tender here refers to the offspring who will carry forward the beauty and memory to the older generation of the older generation. So to sum up, the first quadrant discusses its main topic of discussions are the desires for beauty's continuity through procreation. Beauty is compared to a rose, symbolizing the preservation of aesthetic qualities through offspring. Let's move to the second. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedst thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Line number 5. So in the line number 5, here Shakespeare shifts focus, addressing someone directly. Thou suggests an individual who, instead of embracing the idea of succession, is self absorbed, focusing only on their own eyes. Line number 6, feeds thy light's flame with self substantial fuel. Shakespeare critiques this individual for self feeding their light's flame, their beauty, solely with self centered attributes. It's a metaphorical self nourishment. Line number 7, making a famine where abundance lies. This the poet condemns the self-absorbed person for creating a scarcity, that is the famine. Despite being surrounded by abundance, they hoard their beauty, causing a lack for others. Thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. In this poignant line, Shakespeare emphasizes the self-destructive nature of this person's actions. By being self-focused, they become their own enemy. To sum up the second quadrant, Shakespeare here critiques an individual's self-absorption. Using metaphorical language, describes the consequences of hoarding beauty and creating a personal famine. Quadrant. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament. This is the line number 9. So in this line number 9, Shakespeare here discusses the returning to a broader perspective. The poet acknowledges the individual as a fresh ornament in the world, emphasizing their current beauty and appeal, and only herald to the gaudy spring. The poet is portrayed as herald. Sorry, the person is portrayed as the herald, announcing the arrival of the vibrant spring. Gaudy here implies a colorful and showy spring, possibly suggesting a vivid youthfulness. The gaudy. Line number 11. Within thine own bird viewest thy content. Meaning, this line suggests that the individual, despite being in their prime, that is the bud, confines. Here the bud defines to their prime youth stage. So, this line suggests that the individual, despite being in their prime, confines their potential and happiness, burying it within themselves. And line number 12, and tender churl makes waste in negating. Meaning, Shakespeare criticizes the person as a tender churl, describing them as delicate yet miserly. Negating implies a stingy and wasteful nature. To sum up the third quadrant, here Shakespeare portrays the individual as a world ornament but criticizes their reluctance to share beauty, highlights the paradox of wasting one's content through selfishness. Okay, now let's move to the final couplet. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. This is the line number 13. So in line number 13, the poet appeals to a sense of compassion. He urges the person to consider others. Others mean the world here symbolizes others. Or risk being seen as a glutton. Glutton means selfishly consuming beauty. To eat the world's due by the grave and thee. In the last line, in the concluding line, Shakespeare warns that by not contributing to the continuation of beauty, this person risks devouring what is rightfully to the world's legacy, both in life and death. To sum up this final couplet, he concludes with a call to action, urging the subject, that is the person being here referred to, urging the subject to pity the world by sharing the beauty or face consequences of consuming their own due. So let's discuss about the themes in the sonnet. As we have discussed the sonnet line by line, we have seen the themes of procreation and beauty. We have seen the discussion about how the self-absorption and vanity uh, impacts a person's life, time and mortality, nature and ornament, and call to action and pity. Especially we have seen this theme in the last couplet. Concluding this, we have seen the desire for enduring and beauty, critique for self-absorption and its consequences, self-reflection, reflection on mortality and the importance of succession. The importance of succession is also very emphasized. Appeal for compassion and consideration for others. Warning of the risk of selflessness in life and death. And there you have it. Sonnet 1, a beautiful exploration of the desire for beauty to endure. Feel free to share your thoughts and stay tuned for more poetic journeys. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day.